Welcome to a Drop Tent Media production.
The Porcupine with Adam Nutter.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to a rare Sunday edition of the Porcupine. It's Football Sunday, which is sacred in this country, in this household especially. But we're doing it anyway. We're doing the Porcupine. Giants lost. All of our teams lost. Fuck football. Fuck fantasy football. Fuck betting. I lost everything this weekend. I'm now having a good year. That's not important. That's all we're here. That's just me. If it's 4th and 1, why would you do a sweep? I just don't understand. Like, why would you not just run it up the fucking middle to get the whatever? Okay. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining the Porcupine. Come check me out on the road. I have a bunch of roadies coming up, especially next year. I'm hitting the road pretty hard. I'm gonna try being in Florida, where these next two guests are hail. So I'm gonna try down and see these two. And then Kentucky, Tennessee, California, Ohio, West Virginia, New Hampshire, a bunch of stuff. Obviously, Jersey, Pennsylvania, as always. Again, follow me at Nutter all stuff. And if you guys would be so kind to please go buy a fucking shirt, you pieces of shit. Go buy this shirt. $25. droptent.com/store. Get your Porcupine shirt. Also, if you guys want, we have exclusive Top Lobster art. Disobey your local nutter right here. Get it. droptent.com/store. And again, at I'm Nutter for all stuff. All right, enough of that. Boom. Today we're doing a conspiracy episode. We're going to talk conspiracies, and we're going to have our guest, or my guest today, just go with, I think we're going to go with the two they like the most. I don't know a little bit about it, so it's going to be fun. We're going to fucking dive into it. So, guys, with no further ado, my guest today from the fucking Tower Gang, which has been getting some serious heat on Twitter today. Give it up for Cole. And of course, my man, my lover, Dickie Walnuts. What's up, baby boys? Brother Bears. Thanks for joining me, man.
Yeah, dude, I'm sorry, but this podcast is gonna get canceled right after this.
Right,
I'm so toxic. I'm so toxic right now.
We're gonna break the record of N-words that even Tower Gang has, so just might as well delete it.
Dude, I was like on Twitter. If people don't know, on Twitter today, it's just all attacking Tower Gang and Jose, like for out of context clips. So, oh man, I wanted to be such a troll and just. I wanted to retweet that and be like, no, guys, seriously, this is for real. They're doxing people. Like, we got to stop this.
Dude, I was doxed. I lost my job. Like, we are in no way, like, okay with doxing people. And, like, also, it's just, I love the sorry, this is totally off the fucking, look at these gang members, yes. Yeah, imagine, like, saying this guy's in a gang. Like, Adam looks like he'd be in a gang, but, like, me and
yeah, when Adam came on Tower Gang, you guys went for, like, 5 minutes just asking him how was prison.
Yeah, that's true, we did.
Dude, a lot of my sets, I have to be like, I understand I look like I sell drugs, but I don't. Like, they'll just look at me and like,
I used to. But I don't anymore. Like, it's maybe on the side, maybe a little bit.
It wasn't the tattoos that made me ask that. It was the skinny AIDS look.
Yeah. I know. I really have all the things going for me for like, this guy's a zombie heroin dealer. Like,
you know what it was? It was the dirty needle still sticking out of your arm. I just
why waste
that's what really gave it away.
You could reuse those. I don't understand why they're like, clean up after needles. Cowards. You're already doing heroin. Who gives a shit at that point, right? Like, are you gonna hurt your body anymore? Nonsense. Stop it. Conspiracies. That's what we're here for, though. We are here for conspiracies. Instead of take a break from the usual just super fun libertarian talk that we all talk to all the time, Cole, you and I were off there obviously weeks ago we were talking about Hollow Earth and how that's like a new thing we both kind of started reading, but you read way more than I did. And then Dickie, you and I were talking about like giants and shit like that.
Nephilim,
and also yes. Yeah. And also the African civilization that was like making like astronaut sculptures like way before like astronauts were a thing. Like thousands of years, I'd say. I kind of want to get into the Hollow Earth thing first, because I think that's like the most interesting out of all the things we're talking about tonight.
So one thing, I never read anything on it because I don't read.
That's so
I
funny,
only
'cause
listen to
You said Cole
exactly.
did not read.
Exactly. I did not read anything about Hollow Earth. I listened to multiple like YouTube videos because that's what you do whenever you're at work and you just like sit there and you turn on conspiracy theory videos and then do AutoCAD work like I do every day.
I do that and play Call of Duty like a psychopath. That's how it feels me.
I am much more diligent, you motherfuckers. I make Tower Gang videos while I work, okay? So I don't waste time.
That's true. But dude, actually, so I got into like almost all conspiracy theories because of one guy on YouTube, and I've mentioned his name multiple times, which is Wendigoon. I think it's Wendigoon18 is that his actual handle. But and he does like this conspiracy theory iceberg where he's going down. Like someone posted this on Reddit, I don't know, probably years ago, and just has it all broken down. And he's like going through each fucking conspiracy theory, giving like at least like 2 to 3 minutes on each one, like kind of explaining what it is. He doesn't explain like he just explains what it is. He doesn't go into like debunking it. He just likes conspiracy theories. He talks about it. But there's one that always keeps coming up, and it's Hollow Earth, and it is like the like creepiest, but also most like just like makes me so curious about it because it's like what the like intriguing about it because so it's basically that so the Earth has a Hollow Earth. So it's like if I said flat Earth, you would understand flat. Well, Hollow Earth understands it's just okay. There's a Hollow Earth doesn't mean the Earth is completely hollow. Like we're just a fucking like balloon with nothing on the inside. It's like there are a cave system or something, a huge cave system under the entire world filled with like a different species of people that like kind of fuck with us at some points. But like and like the different things that kind of there's and a lot of different conspiracy theories play into this. Like if you want to talk about Bigfoot, like Bigfoot plays into Hollow Earth because they like why does he show up and then he just disappears and he's in like the mountains like and he's around a lot of caves and shit. That doesn't make any sense. Like where does he go? It's like well he goes underneath the earth and like all these or like what's going on in like Antarctica. Well that's like one of the best places to get into the Hollow Earth. Like that's kind of the real premise of it. But I don't know if you had any questions. I'm not a fucking expert, so
no,
like, but I just enjoy it. None of us are. So if you're like a super Hollow Earth nerd, one, don't talk to me because I'm not gonna like. That's way too much for me. I'm just an average Hollow Earth enjoyer. But also like don't get fucking upset at me.
Yeah, so my favorite Bigfoot theory was it's not really a theory, but it was actually like an offshoot Star Wars like story where Bigfoot's actually Chewbacca. He got stranded on Earth.
Yeah. Well, there's well, that's because I believe, and honestly, I don't read a lot of comics because I don't read. But there was a comic, a Star Wars comic that was like a Marvel kind of thing. Yes. Again, I don't read things, so I can't be an expert. Neither read nor I'm totally illiterate. But like there was a Star Wars comic made by Marvel at some point where Chewie and Han actually did land on Earth at one point, and like I think they killed Han. Like some like fucking Indians killed Han, and then like Chewie was left on Earth.
He just left to rot on fucking in the Pacific Northwest with a bunch of hipsters and fucking flannel. He just rocks flannel. I laid out. So I think I was telling. I forgot I was telling which one of you about the missing 411.
Yes, that's another one. Yeah. That's
so, Dickie, you familiar with this?
What is that? No, okay, I haven't heard of that.
So the missing 411 is the vast amount of missing peoples that go missing in America's national parks. But weird ones. Not like this guy fell down a crevice and like broke his neck. Like it's like experienced hikers. Experienced hunters, they just go missing. And like what's weirder is like they'll find like the guy's shoes and pants and shirt like neatly folded and like put together, and then 40 miles north is like a backpack of his, and then like
shit, I've heard of that.
22 miles like backwards down east is like another piece of it's like what the fuck. So people like, well, it's hypothermia. People get weird. I'll go, okay, fine, let's go with that theory. It was hypothermia, so he took his clothes off, which is what happens right when you get hypothermia. Then he walked 40 more miles north,
with no clothes on.
With his
Walk
nose.
27 miles back. It's like okay, it's like come on, guy. It's like this
Which
makes
I mean, the thing is, yes, people go missing in national parks, and I understand that more people would go missing in large, vast areas. But it's also like there is a crazy amount of people that go missing in these parks. Like it's very weird, and it's just like it's also like it's not just like you said, it's not your just average person going out there like your family on vacation. It's like legit hikers and legit like hunters and people that have
Right.
are experienced, and all of a sudden they go missing and then they find the weird shit. And it's just
It's
like
all,
where
like,
did also where did they
circumstantial.
go? Because they never find the bodies either. That's the other thing. It's
Right.
like they
Oh
don't
yeah,
find
that's
the bodies.
important. So they never find the bodies, and then here's a wild thing. Then you talk about how this is how it fits into Hollow Earth. So if you take a map of the missing 401, like all the pinpoints of them, and you put it on a table, and then you took a map of our cave system, like the American cave system, and overlaid that on top of the missing persons map, it lines up like perfectly. It's I gotta look it up. It's fucking
Yeah,
it's
I'm actually looking up right now.
yeah. I'm gonna try missing 411 map and caves. That came right up. So right here. Okay. Share my screen. Dude, it is bananas. Okay.
It's actually very insane.
Look at this shit.
That's the same one
Look
I'm
at
looking
this.
at from Reddit.
Look at that
shit.
shit, dude. It literally the whole Appalachian Trail right here. I'm not smart, so I know what this is in the middle. But then, like by Yellowstone and shit like that up
The
here,
Mammoth Caves in the middle, I think.
over here. Okay. Oh, Tennessee and shit, right? Yeah, they have a shit ton of caves, right?
Kentucky, yeah.
And then a little bit of Texas, but like up in Yellowstone, up here, and then of course like Colorado and shit like that, like Cali. But like, it's like perfect. I don't. How can you like just dismiss it as like coincidence?
And other thing, like you look at like North Dakota and South Dakota, which are very like big wildernesses where people do go to fucking
Missing people are just going trans. Yes, they're decategorizing them.
Those lucky 40% of cave explorers.
But like North and South Dakota are almost like there's nobody going missing there. There's also no like there's very little caves, and actually the little bit of caves, that's where like the missing people are, which is kind of funny or kind of really weird. But like also like North and South Dakota is a huge wilderness. Like people go there to hike. It has a bunch of like different places to go and like amazing scenery. Nobody goes missing there. So it's not just this, and it's also very cold. It's also not like these people just go are, like what they would tell you is, oh, they're just, going missing in forest and shit, and then they get hypothermia and die and do weird shit. It's like, well, then what about, why are there like a ton of people not missing in North Dakota or Wyoming or some shit? It's
Not
only
to
around
mention-
like caves.
Right. It's very
Not to
weird.
mention the cave under Mount Rushmore of gold, like a national treasure. That's gotta be real.
Yeah, we all know there's a fucking door. There's a fucking hidden door in one of their noses. We all know. We've all seen the fucking movie, man.
To transport you
Obviously.
down into the Aztec cities, all the way down to Mexico.
But
Which,
I heard
by the way,
another-
that is a thing with Hollow Earth, though, that they say like, so these caves do connect all
so
over
it like
the world.
connects like the world. It's kind of like the Resident Evil umbrella like fucking
Corporation?
sub-layer where like it's just like a never-ending cavern of like fucking offices and shit. Okay.
So if you
Interesting.
think
And
about
also
it,
another.
sorry, go ahead.
No, it's fine.
So like if you think about it, if it's further into the earth, it would be easier to get across places because it's got a smaller circumference, smaller radius.
That's true. I mean, and
Yeah.
they do. They're supposed
Yeah.
to move like super quickly under there too. I don't know what it is, but
Mhm.
like, but the other thing is there's like, there's a bunch of reportings of buildings with nothing in them, and then elevators that go you open up the elevator shaft and it's just a hole like straight down.
Dude, I've
Like,
heard that too.
that shit is, and that like these have pictures to them. Like they're not like it's not like a conspiracy. These are like actually real. You can go and see them. Like you open up an elevator shaft and it's just like it's not just like a regular elevator that goes down and we'll have a sump pit underneath that's it could be 10 feet
It
below.
just keeps
These are
going
like
and going and going.
hundreds of feet
Yeah.
down below the basement floor or whatever, and it's just like in an abandoned building. There's nothing in there except for that, and it's just like super creepy.
Yeah, and also, obviously, the average person will be like, "Well, it's an abandoned building." It's like, okay, but why does it have a 100-floor elevator underneath it? So
Yeah,
even if
it's
it was
like-
an abandoned building, like
Yeah, why
go
would they
past
make
so
one
much
more
effort?
question. Just take
Yeah.
one more thought. Like,
Which,
go
by the way,
forward.
it does go into like they already do use buildings to cover up things. They're in California. There's literally buildings that are built just to hide oil rigs, and there's so like there's actually like there you can find them. It's actually a really neat kind of way to hide oil rigs so that people don't get freaked out. But there's California produces a lot of oil, but they don't want to show it in the middle of fucking Los Angeles, so they just build a building around this oil rig, and then just like nobody goes in there, nobody knows what it is. They just see a building and there's like, okay, whatever. But inside there is an oil rig. So I mean, honestly, who fucking knows? Maybe that's what the elevator shaft's just an oil rig, but I don't think they don't make them that big either. So who
Or
fucking
that
knows?
far underground, I would imagine. Like I know oil rig, like the actual drill goes that far, but like people don't.
Yeah,
Like-
exactly.
like-
And also like their drill is like, I don't know, probably like what, 10 inches like in diameter at the most, maybe a foot. But it's not like a fucking elevator shaft where like multiple people can fit into it.
I did just see Russia. I think in the 80s they had a like a gas pipe blew and like they couldn't extinguish it no matter what they did. Like they were like literally dumping like fucking probably tons and tons and tons like that foam shit on it, water, all this stuff. So what they did was they dug like a parallel hole next to the pipeline, like underneath the ground, and then just blew it up in an atomic bomb. They were like, "We're gonna solve this problem," and it welded the pipe shut, like everything shut with the heat from the radiation, the fusion,
Jesus.
all that shit. I was like, "Yeah, that's one way to do it," but but again, like that was like a small like hole. It was like this.
Oh, yeah.
wide in diameter. Like they put it down.
Well, like
so, still.
I saw some shit on like YouTube the other day. It was talking about like the deepest hole in the world, and then like they show like a picture of this ginormous hole. It's like, no, like the Russians did bore the deepest hole in the world, but
Oh,
if you
yeah.
go, you can go and find it. It's literally this big, like because it's not like it's gonna
How deep is it?
The
to
Like,
drill
miles
outside-
down
deep?
miles. You're
they
not
have
gonna
that-
use a
Right.
ginormous like a
Right.
drill
I don't
bit.
think they
I think it was
exist.
4 inches. I want to say it was 4 inches, like a 4-inch diameter drill bit that they drilled down, but they went down like miles.
Yeah, I
Like,
remember
it was
that.
insane.
Another interesting missing 411 case, and this is why I think like there has to be more than it can't just be people again going because like okay, so there was one where it was a hunting party, and these guys have been going up to the same spot for like generations. It's like a bunch of older dudes and like their younger adult sons. Excuse me, and this is one older guy. How they went into the woods, they would park their cars right on the path, and then they would walk into the woods at intervals. So, like, if anything came their way, someone would probably shoot like a deer or whatever. It would be better chances for them to. So they all walked into the woods from distance apart, whatever. Like, all right, man, we're done. No, we couldn't see anything. They're walking out. Their fucking dad's gone, just gone, and no one moved. It's like he was running around the wood. He just gone. And then
Jesus.
they sent a fucking hunting party after him. Gone. Never found him. So it's like, so you telling me this experienced hunter of fucking 40 years who just was supposed to sit still in the spot he always sat at with a gun, by the way. He was armed. It's not like he wasn't armed. Just fucking gone without a fucking trace.
Where was that?
Nothing. Northwest somewhere, I want to say.
I mean,
can't
the only
remember
thing
exactly
that's gonna
where.
like drag you away is Predator, which is gonna leave all kinds of traces behind.
But again, they weren't so
Yeah.
far away from it where you wouldn't hear like some guy be like, "Oh
Well,
my
yeah, they
god,
hear it.
it's a bear!
Yeah.
Please help me!" like
Yeah.
yelling for some bear. like, "Oh my, is anybody seeing this? Why aren't you helping?" Like that's like what I'm saying. Like it wasn't that. It wasn't like a fucking tornado of like clothes and shit. It was the guy was just gone. And they had
And
dogs.
there's probably so many of these like stories too that happen like this. And again, it's like and so you can tie it back to the whole Earth. That's the whole point. Is like this whole thing ties back. Yeah, we're talking about Spud. It's like
Exactly,
this is
Spud,
all
yep.
like a ton. Now the other direction with this is that national parks are like a cover for some random weird shit that the government is doing, which could go back to Hollow Earth if you wanted it to, or it could just go to that, they're literally kidnapping people and taking them to some unknown fucking place.
But still, that would require too much human precision, and we're
yeah,
retarded.
yeah.
As a species.
Yeah, that's true. So it would, and because it's not like, I mean, I don't know who fucking knows what's going on there, but like, and it's just a fun, like, I don't like, don't come at me and be like, oh, you're a fucking weirdo because you believe in Hollow Earth. I don't know if I believe in it. I just really enjoy the whole theory behind it. I really like thinking that there is a huge cave system under us of like different people. Like this goes back to like in Mount Everest. I think there's like the people that live up there like kind of have to do with it too. Like I don't know if you've heard about like the zombies around Mount Everest. Have you heard about that?
No.
Dude, that's a really cool one. That's a really cool one.
I have a buddy from Nepal, and his dad used to do Himalayan tours, and so they've talked about that a little bit. I don't know much about it, but I have heard of it.
No, it's for real. The tour guides up around in Nepal and around the Mount Everest and just those mountain area there, say like the guides themselves, like they'll be going through up Mount Everest, and the people going up will be like, hey, who are those people standing over there? And then they have a name for them. I can't remember what it is, but like those are like whatever people. Like just don't bother with them. Don't look at them. Just kind of keep going. And they're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And they're like, what the fuck? And the guy just like they're basically they're like zombies. They've been there for forever. No one knows. Like you don't cross with them, and if you don't like fuck with them, they won't fuck with you.
So they're not like dead hikers who came back to life. They're just like
no.
Okay.
But it's like they don't like these people having up there, and like
Right.
they're also they don't look right. They don't look like they kind of look, they're humanoid, but like they also don't. It's just very weird. Like these people living up there, and there's also like all this like conspiracy about it, and it goes back to Hollow Earth that they are like the Hollow Earth people, keeping people out from coming into the Hollow Earth. They're like the protectors.
So they're like the
outside.
guardians inward. Okay. And isn't it? Again, I know none of us are experts on this. We're just kind of talking with a lot of fucking half-ass knowledge. But like, isn't it true that like most civilizations have some form of like a Hollow Earth story to them, or like carvings, or like writings, or whatever the fuck? So that's interesting. Do you guys ever hear of crawlers?
Is that the like the things inside of like the caves? Is that what you're talking about? Or
so no, maybe. Okay, so crawler side. There's a big subreddit for this. I think it's called Crawler Sightings. Crawlers, super fucking clever. Crawlers, think of like an emaciated junkie, but like stretched out to like 8 feet.
Fuck.
So it's like so
like you 8 feet tall.
Yes,
yeah, it's Adam Nutter.
but I have better tattoos.
Yeah,
Crawler
sightings. So it's like these creatures that are like super long limbed, super like rib cage kind of showing, like kind of like a Voldemort face, I guess you would describe it as, like but like super pale and like they
kind of like Slender Man.
Yeah,
but with the face though.
Okay, with the face.
And not wearing a suit.
Who has seen a shit ton of those.
Yeah, see, I'm telling you, this
a
is
friend
like
of mine who lived on a reservation in New Mexico and Arizona. He
said, I think.
no, it was like the fucking Slender Man.
I'm not even fucking lying. It's Goosebumps.
Skinwalkers are creepy.
Yeah, they're fucking weird as hell. But he would see him on reservations and shit, and he told me to the point where people regard it in conversation, like, oh yeah, when I was a kid, I thought everybody that drove a car was green because I saw a green dark figure driving a car. He's like, and I saw multiple ones, and people would just talk about it like it's normal. That's what he said.
Dude, that reservation shit creeps me the fuck out. But like, I know like, and like Wendigos, I heard it's different than Skinwalkers, different than Crawler. They're all different. I get that.
Yeah.
But like the Crawler thing, I'm saying because I think there's primarily seen around like woods and shit, which are by caves. And then for the most fucking sightings you like, or reports you hear, is usually they're pretty like to themselves. Like they kind of just will fucking watch you from like you never really hear of anything like, oh, I was chased by a crawler. It was always like this crawler was like this, like stalking me, or like I saw it like from across my house. I saw this one video where this lady was like, I keep seeing this fucking figure walk by the tree, but every time I go over there, it just goes away. And she walked over there like while she was filming the thing, and then like when she got over there, it was just fucking gone. Like, yeah, it could be a prank, sure, it could be a hoax. Like, of course, I'm not like again.
It could be it could be an animal. You never know. But like at the same time, like this shit, like we kind of know what animals look like by now. Like all of us could like kind of figure out like. And I mean, especially like now, was that thing also 8 feet tall? Because at that point, you're just like, okay, this isn't a fucking animal. That's like, I mean, unless there's like, I can see the branches sitting on or whatever.
Well, a bear on his hind leg, but you would know what that looks like. Like you, even if it has mange, it's a bear. Like it's not like some skinny fucking crack addict in the fucking woods being like, "Yo, I need your honey, bro." Like it's like no, it's a bear, dude. It's like it's clearly a bear. Whatever the fuck it's. That's what I don't like about a lot of this too. Is like the dismissal immediately. Like I've told stories of things I've seen before, and I've never seen anything like a crawler or like a Bigfoot. I've seen like I'll tell it again. Fuck it. We were doing. We have this monthly show we run out by us in. It's a place called Chalfont, the town, and it's a town. It's not like a rural area or anything like that. Like it's a regular town, and we do it at a bar. And it's a bar show, and the second floor is where we do the show, and. Like this is like a year or two ago, we were standing outside smoking, and we're all in a group, and everybody's talking, and I look down the street, and like 5 houses maybe down from me, 6 maybe, so it's not that far. There was like this little cat-sized thing. It was like this big. I know this is visual, but like it's like I don't know, like maybe shoulder width apart from me, not super big. And it was just sitting on the ground, like kind of how like you would see like a gargoyle like perched on like a ledge. But it was just sitting there like kind of like perched on the ground like this, and its front. I'm gonna call them legs. Its front legs were like longer than its back legs, and its fur was like either black or like a real dark silver or gray. And it didn't have like a cat or dog tail. It had like a white tails deer tail with like the white under a little bit too. Like short and bushy, not like a long, like you would think from like an animal like that. And then the weirdest part, all that was, and this is the only way I could fucking describe it. Do you guys remember Mousers from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? The Dr. Baxter Stockman's little fucking machines?
Mm-hmm.
No. Okay, I gotta pull it up for everybody then, because like
he's like, I'm gonna pull it up. Yeah, you have to see this.
You have to see what I'm fucking talking about because.
By the way, I was gonna while you're looking it up, STG said, "Can the Earth be flat and hollow at the same time?" We did ask we had an episode with Flat Earth Dave, and he said yes. He said yes, you can have a flat Earth and a hollow Earth because it's not necessarily like the Earth is flat. Is just kind of saying it's just it's in a plane or whatever it is.
Right.
It's just not in a globe. So there's still depth to it. So like you could, I guess they still believe there's depth to the Earth. So it would just be saying like instead of inside of a sphere, it's hollow. It just under like whatever rectangle, it's hollow. Whatever.
Deep dish pizza.
You guys see this?
Yeah, basically.
You see the head of this thing?
Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
It didn't have like the jaws, but it's kind of had this head shape, right? And I just remember like almost like tugging at like everybody else's shirt like a little kid. We just saw like a rape in an alleyway. I was like, hey. I was like, hey. I was like, by the way, before I started tugging them, the thing just took like 2 giant like kind of leaps behind the house and like was gone. That's when I was like, hey, fucking, you guys see this thing? And then just like a child, it was a cat. Shut up, idiot. I was like, okay, I don't think it was. I know what cats look like. No one believed it. And I was like, all right, that's dead forever, I guess.
Dude, there's some of those things you see them, and even if you're not spooked out, you still feel your sixth sense is working, and that makes you kind of feel like, I don't think that was natural. That one was different,
Well, there's another conspiracy out there about the midnight. Yeah,
Flat Earth Dave is fed. Coincidence. Good eyes.
There's a conspiracy out there, but it's like I think it's called like midnight trolls or like highway trolls. Which is like, have you ever been driving like super late at night, just like on a highway going out in the middle of fucking nowhere, and like you'll see like some weird shit like on the side of the road, and like they call these things like highway trolls. And so it's not like a fucking deer or anything. It's just like other shit. But it's like, it's like 2:00 in the morning and you're driving, no one else on the road. It's just you there. And you'll see like things. They call them highway trolls. Like,
so what do they
I don't know
look
if
like?
I've ever seen. however you think a troll looks like. I don't fucking know.
Shrek.
Like,
Immediately think of Shrek.
We had a highway ghost out by Falls Lake, North Carolina. A lot of people reported seeing like some white creature, a woman in a fucking white dress and shit. Like hundreds of people said they saw that shit. I don't fucking know, but
that's the creepy dude. Like that, and like Adam, do you believe in ghosts?
I don't. Yes and no, because like, who am I to say, right? That's the kind of
that's true.
Like, who am I to say no? I've never personally had like a ghost experience. Like, I never even really necessarily
I haven't
been, like,
either.
creeped
I
out.
was about to ask you if you had anything other than that because
I do, but not. But yes, no. Oh, we'll go. Yeah, what's yours?
One. This was back in my house that I grew up in. My neighbor, they had a lot of like Indians, like Native American Cherokees, like in their family and shit.
Woo ones, not the stinky ones.
Yeah, the feather, not the shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say feather, not the curry. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and there was like people buried in their fields behind their house and shit from generations ago and whatnot. And so they would always talk to me about it. I hadn't seen it like outside or anything like that, but they had told me all the time, like, yeah, I've seen a fucking ghost or whatever. And they were like half native, so they believed in all that shit. And so one morning, it was like nighttime. I was getting up and I was walking down the hallway or some shit, and you get that fucking weird ass feeling. I was like, oh fuck, it's cold. And all of a sudden, this fucking broom we had against our wall just gets flung at me. And so I think my mom was asleep in the living room, and the broom had like a fucking dustpan at the top, and it was a metal one, and it like cuts my ear, and so I'm bleeding, and so I think somebody's attacking, so I turn around and just swing and punch a hole in the wall. My mom flipped her shit. She was so pissed. I was like, I couldn't talk.
Ghost,
I was like, Mom,
ghost shovel.
Dude,
ghost broom.
Fucking ghost shovel. And she's like, what shovel? No shovel, broom. I was like,
That's
the fucking broom that was up against the wall. And she's like, yeah, I had that in a corner. There's no way it could have fell. And I'm like, oh shit, okay, whatever. But
So did you immediately get the fucking? Oh yeah, hold on real quick. Justin O'Donnell. He's like, I came in late. How we talked about how Tower Gang is evil now. Yes, Justin. I opened up with
a little bit.
All those disappearances that happened in the woods. It was just the Tower Gang jumping people.
Oh yeah, it was our literal gang. Yeah, we're a literal gang now. So
Jose is the road troll. Okay.
Oh, by the way, I do have kind of a secondhand ghost story. That's not true. I actually do have a secondhand ghost story. So, pretty much, there was this woman and her son who she lived alone. She had like no family on the East Coast where we live. Like she had like nothing, like no enemies, like a regular single mom kid. She was like, hey, I think like the things like missing from my house, whatever. And no one believed her, or like people that she was getting burglarized. But like, no one's gonna like risk breaking into your house to be like, you see, this was over here, now it's over here. like it's wild to think that.
That's one hell of a troll.
It's one hell of a, although that would be a great troll. That would be just an all-time troll. It makes you fucking lose your mind thinking your fucking house is haunted.
We do it to Cole when he gets old.
Just do it to him tomorrow. He'll forget we even talked about it. You should probably still pull it off. So she got like sick of, I think, all the naysayers. So she's like, I'm gonna prove that I'm like something's fucking with us. So what she did was she filmed herself and her son sleeping all night. And the setup of the room is super important because, okay, so it's like a regular bedroom, right? There was a closet, a window, and the door, and they were all in frame though. They were all in frame the entire time of the camera. And how she walked in like filming the camera, like filming the room. She's like, look, everything's in frame. I don't have an attic or anything in my bedroom. I don't have shit, right? She puts the camera in the 90-degree corner right by the bed.
Yeah.
To look outward, and her son and her in frame, and her son was like 7, like a young, like, so it wasn't like fucking around. It wasn't like, pranking her. It was like a young kid. She goes to sleep, and then fast forward, and you see the camera just levitate. It pans like the whole room super slowly, and then just drops back down like on like the stool it was on. And then like you fast forward, like she wakes up and like just turns the camera off. And I was like, I don't know, explain that. You know what I'm saying? Like, explain that to me. I don't fucking know. I couldn't explain it. I was like, I think your house is haunted. Leave or burn it down. One of the two.
Dude, that's the thing. Like, if I was in a haunted house or anything like that, I'd be like, nope, I'm not. Just fuck it. No, I'm out of here. I don't give a fuck. I don't know how. I care how much I paid for it. Yes. Well, there was also some friends of ours. They rented a house from this guy, and I can't remember the.
It sounded like you said house from the sky. I was like, that sounds awesome.
No, they rented this house from this guy, and they said like when they got there, you know, there was nothing in the house, except for underneath like the sink was like a thing, like a really nice like casserole dish, or it was like pots and pans or something, like something like really nice under there, just sitting under there. And they asked like the landlord about it, and he was like, "Oh yeah, just don't move them." And then they were like, "What?" And he was just like, "Don't move them." But there was some like weird thing about them, and like to me, like I would just be like, "All right, just never gonna fuck with them, just not gonna like." And like they didn't either. They were like, we could have tossed them out, but we left them. We literally left. We like left out space in our cabinets because like these like pots and pans were in there that like our landlord was just like, no, they're not mine.
Damn.
And they're not the previous tenants. They just been there. And like no one's moved them.
See,
and
that's what I'm saying, dude. It's like, what's the harm in not fucking with the potential ghost? You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to bring that on you? Like, and this is where like my buddy Neil, who I do all my comedy podcast stuff with, Neil, shout out Neil Wood. He's such like a fucking skeptic, where he's like, no, everything, the earth is how it is. Like, there's nothing else. He's like, maybe there are aliens, but you know, I don't know. And he's like, but that's it. Like, there's no ghosts, no this, no that, no, it's all. And like, he'd be the guy though that's strung up from like a fucking rafter in the movies with his fucking shit gutted because he didn't believe in this stuff. And
would he be the first one to die?
Tall white man, which I guess in like black years he doesn't have like a long lifespan because he's tall, so his heart's gonna explode soon. So you know, it's like, you know, tall guys, they have like a regular, they have like a fucking giant, or like my friend Ryan Foster is a tall guy. He has a great joke.
He's like, collapse quicker.
He goes, we're the Great Dane of people. That's it. He's like, we just die. He's like, yeah, you guys are.
So Adam, I got a question. What do you think about like dogs having psychic powers and shit, and like sensing ghosts and whatnot? Because I have a story about that.
My dog sometimes will stare into a corner. That's creepy. Also, Josh, my mic is half missing. I don't know where half of it went. I just showed up and it was gone. The foam's gone. I don't know where. No one touches this shit. It's gone. Ghost. Ghost. Anyway, but I think, yeah, I don't know. I think, well, animals can sense hurricanes and fucking earthquakes and shit.
Yeah.
So like, it is weird that they do like, will stare off into like a closet and just bark at it. Like, what, do you have a personal like dog story?
Oh yeah, so I would get sleep paralysis all the damn time, and
I'm so glad I've never gotten sleep paralysis. That shit's,
dude, it
sucks.
Creepy, man. It fucking sucks. It feels like Adam. Have you had it?
No, I don't sleep or I don't dream because I smoke too much weed.
Okay, there you go. So I haven't had it. I haven't had it like much recently, but growing up, I did. Like as a kid, I had it all the fucking time. So I just kind of got used to it. I was like, whatever. Like, there's a fucking dude over in the corner wearing a hat. Like, who gives a shit? So like, or like, you can't move. So like one night, you know, I'm used to this. Keep in mind, and I've had sleep paralysis when I had a dog that stayed in my bed, and then one night, our dog Bean, I was having. I think I told Cole about this one time. I couldn't tell if I was dreaming or not. I was looking at myself in the living room floor, like passed out on the couch from playing video games and shit, and like the other dog was gone. He sleeps on the couch, and I couldn't move, and I kind of feel myself being held, and I was like, oh fuck. And so I somehow managed to wake myself up. And then I dream it again where I'm looking at myself in the bed. And then I close my eyes because I'm like, this is bullshit. And I open my eyes again and I'm me laying down. And there's this fucking shadow holding me down, choking the shit out of me. And I'm like, oh, this isn't fucking sleep paralysis. This is a whole nother level. Like, fuck this. And so I can't speak and I can't move. I'm just like, oh, fuck. Out of nowhere, my dog just starts like howling, and my wife was on vacation. She was doing something at her parents' house. So it was just me in the house. Yeah, right. She couldn't have shot me in my sleep, you know. So my dog is just going bananas, like growling and shit. So like there's somebody there, and all of a sudden I'm released, and I'm like, oh shit, well, I gave that fucking dog a steak the next day, dude. Like,
Dude,
So
that
I
shit
guess
is.
that I had
super
never been
creepy,
scared.
dude.
I had never been scared like that, and that was
So-
the only time I was legit terrified.
So like they say, obviously, so the real so the medical reason behind sleep paralysis is like your brain, like you're awake during a nightmare, right?
You have
That's what
a skip in your REM cycle, yeah.
So do you think that's what it really is? Or you think it's something way more than that?
I think what
'Cause
I
you
have had
experienced it.
before was like I know about that. Like I studied like science and medicine in college, so like we learned all about the sleep paralysis cycle, and then that one out that was not explainable. So I kind of do subscribe to a possibility of there's just an out of body experience, or there's fucking like ghosts and shit. I don't know. I'm open to the idea.
like
Based
I said,
on
like that secondhand ghost story is really the only like ghost thing I ever personally really encountered. I definitely. Oh, I had a glitch in the Matrix thing happen to me. Like I skipped not time, but like I almost like this sounds crazy. I fucking hate saying it this way, but it's like a teleported.
Oh, like you were in one place and then all of a sudden you were just
astral
somewhere else.
projection. I've been looking into that a little bit.
No, okay, so
that shit
that
shit is weird too.
I had that as a
is
kid.
weird.
I had that astral projection shit as a kid.
No, I never
too.
had.
Like, oh shit,
anything cool. Fuck, I just had the weird.
It wasn't
creature
cool,
thing.
dude. It was scary.
Like,
it's not cool.
No, this is what happened to me. And like what's annoying is my wife's downstairs and she can't even like attest because she was sleeping when it fucking happened. So we go to Mexico every year, and 1 year we had the brilliant. We live outside of Philly, and we had the brilliant idea to fucking leave from JFK out of New York, which is retarded. Never do that. Ever do that. If anybody don't do that. Just go wherever you're from. Leave that from the airport. It's fucking stupid. So we had to. So like I'm from Staten Island, New York, which is important because where I live now in Pennsylvania, to get to JFK Airport, I have to drive back to where I'm from, Staten Island, to go through Staten Island, Brooklyn, into Queens. Okay, I know how to get to Staten Island. It's I could do it in my sleep. There's only 2 ways to get there that from my house, and I know both of them like the back of my hand. This is not a fucking weird, thing for me. Now, what else is important is it's 4 a.m. Okay, so whatever. She just woke up, everybody packed, but she was still tired, and I was driving, so I was like, just sleep. So she crashed on the passenger seat, and now we're driving, and now we're off, and I'm in Jersey now, and like I'm driving, and I'm like, I feel like I've been on the road longer than I should have, and I haven't seen the fucking exit yet, like to start to get off to go to Staten Island. I'm like, this is fucking weird. I look at her, she's sleeping. I'm like, all right, whatever. Then I start to like look around me, and I start to notice like I never seen like these buildings before. Not like they were weird looking buildings. I mean, it's me like that's like unfamiliar. Like I don't remember a Target being there. I remember a Walmart being there, like shit like that. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, where the fuck am I? I'm like, where? I'm like, how did? And again, I don't have my GPS on because I know where I'm going. I know how to get to JFK. Like this isn't. I finally go. I don't know where the fuck I am. I turn my GPS on. I'm in Red Bank, New Jersey. Now, why this is important is because for me to get to Red Bank from where I am currently, I would have to make mad turns, like a lot of exits. You just can't drive straight to Red Bank. Like it's impossible. You have to make a lot of turns. And I would notice myself constantly getting off exits to get to Red Bank's like kind of right above Staten Island. Right? So I'm like, what the fuck? And I looked down at the time and like I didn't miss time. It was like still like 4:13 or 4:15 or 4:20, where the fuck it was. But it was just like 4:20 again. But now like I'm in Red Bank. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, what the fuck? And like we didn't really lose time. I didn't really lose any time out of the trip or anything. But I was like, dude, that was. And I remember waking up and be like, hey, we're in Red Bank. She's like, what does that mean to me? I was like, all right, nothing, I guess. She's not from Staten Island. She doesn't really get it. But she still doesn't believe me. But she was there. She was there for it. She was just sleeping. So like it was just wild. And then like I just put my GPS. I went to like the JFK. But that was wild.
Dude, that's actually that's been. I remember Wendigo actually talking about this. I can't remember what the actual conspiracy is called, but I think it's another thing of like alternate reality or something like that. Of like there will be times where like something happened because he told a story about like a mom and her kid, and like they were like walking, and then all of a sudden this was kind of a different one, but they were just like for like a couple seconds, the world just stopped. Like it was just like she like, and then like her son like looked up to her and was just like, hey, why is nobody moving? Or like, hey, like something like that. And then like they just kind of came back. Like it just kind of started again. and they're just super weird. Or there's like other ones like that where you'll just kind of like just be doing something and you'll just be at a like either lose track of time, but you did it because the time, like, it's not like it's still the same time you would think it is, but you're just in a different place or something like that. Also, my friend also did that. He took a edible one time. He was on his way home, but it said it felt like hours. But he was just like, he thought he was freaking out because he was like, it feels like it's been an hour and I haven't reached my exit yet, and my exit's only like 15 minutes away. But he was also just really high.
That's the thing.
driving.
I wasn't on any drugs. I just woke up also, and I wasn't tired either. I was like, hey, I'm awake. I'm driving to the airport. Like, it's not like I was like, like highway driving for an hour like that. Also, like, you're not that sleepy for that long while driving, even if I was tired. But I wasn't. Like, I was wide awake. The most egregious part of that whole night, by the way, wasn't even the fact that I just got fucking time raped by whatever gods out there. What the most annoying part of the night was I pulled into a gas station, and in Jersey, it's the only state in the country where someone has to pump your gas for you by law.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I remember just like pulling up and waiting, and no guy came to my fucking window. So I'm like, what the fuck? So I get out of the car, and there's just some guy like sleeping in his booth. I was like, hey man, could you gas my car up? And he was like, I went to your window, you didn't roll it down. I was like, you were sleeping. That's crazy. That was the most egregious part of the night. It was that guy just blatantly lying to my face as I woke up from deep sleep.
That's funny. So was this a glitch in the Matrix or a fun trip that you had?
That's what I call it, dude. Hold on, Josh. Wrong. Oregon changed their fucking law last year.
Changed it, and nobody knew how to fucking pump their gas.
Yeah. Fix your mic, bitch.
And also, like, what was funny about that is, like, people were so scared. They were like, but if I pump my own gas, I'm just going to smell like gasoline all day at work. It's like, Jesus Christ. These people have no idea.
It's like they're like, oh, I need gas. And
I need gas. It's all over me.
The whole state of Oregon versus one pumpy boy.
Is
dude.
That still a thing in New Jersey, though? Is that still, like,
100%?
Law?
Yeah, because dumb people need jobs.
God, this is so fucking dumb.
Well, then don't comment on it, Josh. You've been living for 5 years. You eat dicks. You're the one who eats dicks. How dare you?
I had a funny glitch in the Matrix story one time as a kid. So my mom, she was cleaning someone's house. She had a house cleaning business. And so I was just playing in their basement, like with their toys or whatever. I was like 4 or 5. And they had this weird picture. It was like a cowboy. And the stairs that led to the basement, they had an angle. You'd go down one small flight, turn at a right angle to the left, and the other small flight of steps. And so when you're walking down the steps, you see the picture on the wall right there facing you. It was like this cowboy. The dude was like scary looking. He was ugly and had some nasty ass beard or whatever. He just looked creepy. So I walked down there. I was like, that's a creepy picture. So I walked down, and I'm playing and shit. And so I had to use the bathroom. So I get up and I walk up the stairs, and the picture is on this wall, whereas it was on that wall. And I'm like, so I looked to see if there's 2 pictures. I distinctly remember this too. I looked, and there's only one picture, and I kept like, it was as if it was getting moved. And so I was like, yo, mom, come this out. And she didn't believe me. And I was so scared to like go back up the steps, because I was like, I don't trust that shit. I'm staying down here by myself. So, and to this day, she remembers that and gives me shit for it.
Here's another, I guess, bigger conspiratorial question. So, like,
back to the conspiracies.
I'm hearing my mic pop. It's so annoying. I don't know where this fucking phone went. I'm so mad. Josh is right. It's even more annoying. God damn it. Dude, fuck, I have to admit that. So, like, obviously, if this is all being kept, like Hollow Earth, especially, I'll stick on Hollow Earth for a minute. Let's say like, it's all being kept from us and stuff like that. You guys see the latest King Kong movie, King Kong vs. Godzilla?
I don't make it a point to watch shitty movies.
I love.
Okay, well, you're wrong. It was awesome.
It was great. I was so drunk when I watched it. I was enjoying it, and then the next day I watched it sober.
I'm sorry, Cole. Are you too highbrow to watch a gorilla fight a fucking lizard?
Yes, he is.
Get him out of here. Who invited this guy? Fucking.
No, I literally asked him if he wanted to watch it with us.
If I wanted to watch Obama fight fucking Biden, I would just I would tune into some whatever Democratic debate.
But my point is, the whole thing was like, why are you guys hating on this movie? O'Donnell too, guys. If you're looking at it like it should be Schindler's List, you're the retarded ones. It's a gorilla fighting a lizard. And you
So
guys
you're
are
saying
like,
we're not
where's the
supposed
depth?
to enjoy the movie?
I don't understand. Just watch the two things fight each other. Shut up. Stop being cunts about it. It's crazy. Anyway, the whole thing was like Hollow Earth.
Oh
like
yeah,
the
yeah.
whole arc was like
Yeah.
Kong's from Hollow Earth
Like,
and like
once
his
they got
family's
down,
from there.
everything
And,
flipped.
like yeah. Oh, that shitty. Okay, I'll give you guys this. There's that shitty show on TV right now, La Brea. That's like a whole and I only know because I watch football and they play it during fucking commercials. It's like this shitty show where it was based in LA where like a sinkhole opens and they fall into like a Hollow Earth. So my point is like now there's like two things that are like, hey, look at Hollow Earth. Is this like they're trying to bait us into or open us into the idea that this exists and they're gonna hit us with a Hollow Earth existing thing, or is it like B, that experimental programming thing or a predictive programming thing, or is it C, just like them being like, oh, this is real, we're rubbing in your face, or four?
I think it would be the rubbing in your face one most because it'd be like,
yeah,
that's me because they do this shit all the time with other like stuff. Like
yeah,
they do it. I mean, just
started.
like just like simple things. Like if you just watch war movies, like they'll rub it in your face that like that these like we're all the good guys and we do nothing wrong, and like even though it's so predictable that we're killing people, they're just like we're
American soldiers have boots on fucking Vietnamese children's heads. We're like, Vietnam was great. We didn't do anything wrong. I also found out that apparently like every war movie that we've made has been funded by the CIA.
Oh
like
yeah,
everyone.
Yep.
Like every
the thing is like if they want to get like I never thought the CIA, maybe that's true, I don't know, but like the army definitely, because like to get like if they want legit props or whatever, they have to get with the army and get them to like give it to them, and then the army will be like, well, if we're gonna give it to you, you have to like make us look good, and they're like, okay, yeah, totally fine, and then all of a sudden there's just like this handshake deal of, okay, you can give us like a couple tanks, and then we'll just make it look like American imperialism is like fucking baller. So,
have you guys seen Midway?
No, I refuse to because I'm a World War II buff. So I refuse to watch that movie because I literally saw the commercials and I was like, all of this looks like garbage. Plus, I thought the CGI looked like trash. I thought the CGI was so terrible in that movie. Even from the commercial I saw, I was like, ooh, that just looks so computer generated. I just can't I can't watch this. It will just kind of piss me off.
That's I was a history major when I went to 4 years of college, didn't graduate. It's crazy. I was a history major
and a history major, double useless.
Yeah, I know, super double useless, but it was fun because like at least the college I went to, like they didn't. I didn't go to a liberal college. I went to I went to St. John's, which is I guess definitely a Catholic university.
Yeah.
And all the history professors I had were pretty accurate and honest with their shit. Like now, like, nah, we did plenty of fucked up shit. Like, I remember the first time I ever heard the libertarian argument of like, we didn't have to nuke Japan. And it's like an 18-year-old Staten Island kid. I was like, what?
We did that at our college. Hell no.
It was not Austin Peterson, I'll tell you that.
Well, I brought up the movie because how you were saying with CIA having to get the okay from the military. That's the only so far like war movie that I've seen where they actually like gave some respect and humanization to the other side with Japan.
Shout out fucking Josh. Actually, you know what? I shouldn't shout out Josh. Josh has been fooling me with the fucking dumbest Twitter jokes. I've been falling for him. He'd be like, "Hey, do you see the new Wendy's?" I'm like, "Wendy's what?" He's like, "Wendy's balls
Wendy's
in your face."
nuts?
I'm like, damn it! This is like 3 times. But anyway, he brings up a good point. And also go check out Josh's appearance on my show. He said David Crowley tried to make a movie in which the military wouldn't look good, and we know how that turned out. It's like, yeah. And then Magoo's point, repeat after me. Pat Tillman died in combat. Now have fun with the tanks in your commercial for us. Yeah, dude. It's like
that's a conspiracy.
God, that one is
that's
so,
a good one.
Dude, that
soon
one
after
is
he
kind of
got red pilled.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden he gets shot in the back. Like this.
Yeah, he was like firebombed on like a hill. Like a hill.
Yeah,
Which, by the way, he was a safety for the Arizona. Like you gave up
a good one.
A good
all
one.
pro
Dude.
safety.
Dude, I played safety and I was
Fight
nowhere
safety.
near the NFL level. So it's like I never would have gave up that position to go fucking fight. God damn it. Yeah, but yeah, that's a conspiracy in itself that never just gets brushed under the rug, which it's like, oh yeah, we killed him. Anyway, America, right?
Yeah,
It's
well, like
what?
anytime they
Like,
bring
what
up
do you mean?
Pat Tillman, they talk about like his military service, but they do not bring up that we literally murdered him. like,
Yeah,
like it
it's
was
like the
To the
government
point
will
where they
still
don't even
use
bring up
him.
Pat Tillman that much anymore. Like I rarely
Yeah,
ever
they
hear
won't.
about
Yeah,
any of that.
But that's what's so funny. Like even like when the government does like he died a hero, it's like yeah, but you killed him. It's like why are you platforming? That's weird to go off of. It's it's a weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
I did also want to cover. I know we're jumping all over the place, but the I can't pronounce Nephilim.
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 Yeah.
So this is like
Yeah.
the giant
The
theory,
giants.
and how there was like a race of giants that roamed Earth, I guess, one day, and then we wiped them out, or they just fell off the like. What's the story
So-
there? Like, I don't really.
So there's a few
So it's a
theories on that
biblical
one.
one.
The biblical one, I know that one. So, and what's funny, so Cole and I went to like a Baptist, like Christian college, and they talked about this, and they were adamantly against.
I never heard them
the-
talk about this, by the way.
Okay, so the teacher I had, yeah, so we would have.
I
to
might
take,
have just not been listening, so that's also like what may
Probably.
happen.
So according to
Fucking-
them, they were. Yeah, thank you, Justin.
Bible isn't real.
So
Well, technically,
they
it
were
is
like,
a real
no.
thing. It
Yeah,
exists.
It is. It's physical.
I'm gonna show
They
O'Donnell
would-
a Bible. He's gonna be like, "No, impossible."
No, it's
He takes off his
impossible.
sandal and waves it at you. So so they would talk about this, but they were always like, now, a lot of like, and they would always like bust on the Catholics. They say, oh, Catholics believe that this race of giants the Bible mentions were like fallen angels that like God kicked out of heaven that fucked humans and made like
Nice.
titans, basically. Yeah. And they were like, this is why we don't believe that, blah, blah, blah. And so I'm thinking like, oh, fuck it, whatever. And so later on, I was like kind of studying it. I was like, I wonder what, like, is there any like basis to this? And so, I mean, even if you think the Bible is completely bullshit, it still is consistent with the Bible of that idea. So once the scripture that people would say the Nephilim came from is there was giants and sons of men had relations with sons of God had relations with daughters of men, and there was giants. And so they would say sons of men just means God's chosen people, the Israelis, and daughters of men was the people in like Canaan or Babylon or whatever. And it's like, bro, but like every other part of the Old Testament that says sons of God, it means angels and demons. And so the word Nephilim in Hebrew means fallen one, and so that's the idea of it. It was fallen angels and shit. So like according to other parts of the scripture, it would be consistent to say that idea. And so that's why like Christians that believe in the flood, that's why God sent the flood, because he was sick and tired of like half-breed race on the earth. And the demons were also teaching people like Warcraft and like magic and shit. So that's why he did it. So that's where the race came
Like guys,
from.
in 2,000 years, this game's gonna be lit. Trust me.
Yeah. So
But
yeah, I mean that's the explanation for it.
I like the idea though. It is kind of funny how God just like came back home almost. And he's like, "Oh, my kids fucked each other. Like, I gotta wipe all this out. I just gotta drown everything. I gotta start."
Now, here's the
Dude,
thing.
get your massive 8-foot dick out of that small woman now.
Well, the thing is, like, it's not like giants didn't exist, because I'm pretty sure they found like bones of like huge fucking people, and they're just like, all right, well, I mean, besides what are they? What could they be? So like,
So
I think
I always heard two things about that. I have to cut you off, but before you go deeper on that, I always heard A, fake, right?
Okay,
And then
sure,
B,
fine.
Photoshop. And you're like,
okay.
right, but you're like, okay, sure. But what if it's not? Then what's your answer? like you just dismiss it still? Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like also the fact that we know, not to go off a tangent, I'm sorry, but
No,
like
go ahead.
how almost every single dinosaur you see in a museum is not a real like full fossilized dinosaur. There's like four parts of it. And they just
And
go,
they build everything off.
Isn't the
we think
most
this is what it looked like.
complete one, like only like half, like 45% isn't the most complete one.
Not
about-
even.
not
Oh yeah,
even
yeah,
that.
yeah. Like they have like a rib cage and like half of a claw, and they're like, T-Rex, and you're like, that's a stretch, but okay, I guess. But like as a kid, you don't know any of that shit, right?
Yeah.
So you just think like, oh, they found this giant T-Rex in the ground, and then you get older, and then you hit that fact gets hit with you, and you're like, motherfucker. So they're just crafting giant lizards together. I mean, I appreciate it. I guess it's kind of cool, but like you're just crafting giant lizards together. So yeah. So anyway, I'm sorry. Continue.
No, but like I'm pretty sure they have found like legit fossils of like just very large people, or even just like who was I talking about it with? Fuck, who was? Oh, was it? Fuck, I can't remember who it was. But they're talking about how in it might have been with Flat Earth Day that we talked about this. But like over in Europe, I can't remember which exact country it is. Like they just have huge fucking doorways for no like these people. Is
that Jordan? Is that like the Petra? Is that like is that
no, not that. No, this was like in Europe.
Okay,
yeah.
Prague, or some of those.
Yeah, so it was in Prague. It was in Prague. It's just like
they have statues of giants too. I mean, they're just giant
Prague,
people,
you say?
so it could be.
I'm gonna
Prague.
Prague giant doors.
It's hard to find it. It really is hard to Google that.
Yeah, I know. The first thing that came up was Prague giant salamander.
Yeah, and like you'll find the statues of the giants that's famous outside of the castle in Prague.
This right here? Boom. This shit?
Well done,
like that?
Yeah. And there's all these doors that are just like huge for like no reason.
I always try to play. I always try to play, even though I believe in most of the or a lot of the stuff. I always try to play devil's advocate and go, okay,
yes,
because then we're not. Because then I feel like we're no better than like everybody else who just dismisses it. Like we have to also, I feel like, do our due diligence. So I look at this and go, okay, well, when was this built? They were into like, look what we could build phases in human being history, right? Like, like, look at us. Like, giant door. So it could be just them like showing their dick, being like, look what we could do. Or giant body. I don't know.
I mean, so it kind of goes back to like what you were saying before about like the Hollow Earth, how each like civilization had its own like depiction of Hollow Earth. Like, well, also like a bunch of civilizations had depictions of like huge fucking people that they either fought against them or they would see. And also the same thing goes into like why does every like civilization also have that was close to like oceans or water have like depictions of huge fucking sea monsters.
Yes.
Like that wasn't like, I mean, I'm pretty sure they understood storms. Like they all have the same like weird like Kraken kind of looking thing.
So, like this right here, even this is the Prague statue, and it says fucking a statue of a giant with a dagger at the gate of giants in Prague.
So I will say that, not to shit on this theory, but like this was made, like the Gothic architecture was made at a time where people were malnourished and tiny. So I don't know, like all the cathedrals were pretty tall.
That's true. Maybe the doors thing isn't the best. Sorry, maybe that wasn't the best proof, but it was more
most of the Europeans back in that time were tiny as hell.
True. Yeah, I guess this was the Black Plague and monarchies that starve you would probably do that. Also, Shannon would like to know: are you guys having a sleepover? Yes, Shannon, they kind of are.
He slept over at our house Friday night, and then he sleeps over like at least once a weekend. Every weekend.
Oh,
Justin!
Nice,
yeah, Justin being a bummer.
So Justin says the fossil of the giant at Castle now. I think I said that right. Is largely discounted as fraudulent, as archaeologists have not been able to corroborate their existence other than a single femur that they can't prove was human. Hey, Justin, you're being a real bummer. Okay, I'm telling you that right now. You don't like Godzilla. You don't like the fucking monkey fighting fucking lizards. You don't want us to learn about giants. What do you want us to do?
Otherwise, how else would Justin have found a suit that's too big for him, like that picture?
That's true. It's big ass, just as big ass.
Yeah, he's just trying.
Which, by the way, if you saw
Justin,
I'm sorry, but I would call like anybody over 7 foot a giant. Like if I saw Shaq in person, which I mean, I'm only 5'8", but if I saw Shaq, I'd be like, that's a fucking giant man. Like, so I mean, maybe their representation of giants is that.
We'll see that every time he sees me.
Wow.
But I mean, but
5'2". So
I'm 5'8". I just said I'm 5'8", Adam. Fuck you. But if these people who are like, I mean, they weren't that huge back then. They had to be smaller than we are now. saw like a 7-footer or 7'2" guy, they would be like, "Holy shit, that's a giant." But also, I think there were actually some people that were, legitimately like 9-10 feet tall, and just like, I don't know, came from somewhere. I don't know, maybe the Hollow Earth.
Boom, Spud. There are Indian tribes that talk about redhead, 8-foot tall men that are also. There are also stories in newspapers from 80 to 100 years ago. Youth pics. I'm assuming she meant with pics, but but I think I've heard that too. The 8-foot red-haired. Oh, okay. Let me ask you this, guys. Then you guys are Bible people or whatever. How about David versus Goliath? Is that like a actual giant?
So, you want me to explain this one?
Sure, go ahead.
So
you sound like a fucking
he's so disappointed.
bitter girlfriend, dude. You're like, fine, you explain.
Fine, you do it. Whatever. I'll just be over here just doing my podcast.
It's just domestic violence in their house. Damn. Go ahead, Jake.
That's what Tower Gang's all about, beating your significant
Hell yeah.
other. So, like the biblical explanation for that, like even if you believe it's bullshit, the biblical explanation is the Nephilim. They died off after like the so-called flood, and then Noah and his sons survived. His sons' wives, however, they had traces of that blood and passed it down, and that's why a lot of there were stories about giants that lived in this one area where probably I think Syria is now, and Syria, and then coast of the Mediterranean, just west of Israel, and so that's where a lot of them said to have originated, and that's where like Goliath was from, because like his family was like 10 feet tall too, supposedly. So
maybe
he should have won.
Oh yeah, he should have won. Yeah, he fucking blew it, dude. I bet Duke crushed people for a while. I mean, and he also was crushing pussy, I bet too. I mean, if you're 10 feet tall,
it really wasn't a choice. He was just gonna do it. It really was up to them. Also, Shannon fucking isn't Mrs. Nutter a teacher at religious school? Yes, she is. I'm sure she wasn't selected said Bible people, but you know what? I don't know if she can hear me or not, so we're fine.
There's also stories about dudes in the Bible that had like the Hebrew women like were trying it with all the Egyptian and like Canaanite dudes because they all had huge dicks. Like the Bible said, they had dicks as big as horses and could ejaculate like a bull. So that's the big dick theory.
But this is where like all the Bible stuff, and like I do kind of get lost in it a little bit, where I go, I think a lot of it though was just explaining to dumb people what, like, right, like that kind of. So like everyone wasn't super. I'm not super articulate. I said "what" 100 times in that one sentence. So like I can't imagine somebody from then who doesn't know shit probably being like, "Do you see the giant water monster?" And the guy's like, "The octopus." He's like, "Yeah," like, But like in that guy's mind, he thinks it's a giant water octopus, like a giant water monster. So like so I know we're all like, oh, and all these civilizations histories, they have like pictures of this, pictures of this, pictures of it. Like theoretically it could just be like a manatee tail, and the guy's like, I want to fuck that manatee. No, it's a mermaid. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if. I don't know. I guess this is my point. I just don't know like how literal the Bible is being sometimes, or just how much of a parable it really is.
I think after like, especially when there's corroborating, maybe not stories, but at least like a lot of things kind of line up the same. Kind of like how every civilization has their own version of like the flood story, like where they mention like there was a huge flood at one point. Maybe not over the whole earth. I mean, whatever you want. I believe it's over the whole earth, but it doesn't mean you have to. I don't give a fuck what you believe. But well, they're trying to do a nigger tower, and you're.
I know. I noticed. I saw it.
We made it an hour and 8 minutes before we said an N-word. Good job. He's rehabilitating.
God damn. Oh yeah, sure, Justin. You can put the G in there, but you don't like Godzilla. Put an S-hole.
But like I think like you have to at some point be like, okay, something did happen or something did exist. Like, and there was other people that I remember. Again, I'll bring it up again. Wendigoon had a whole thing about like the ocean and like ocean mysteries or shit like that, or ocean stories. Like there was like different what's it called? Just stories about ships on the ocean that all of a sudden went like fucking missing, or like everybody on it just was gone for
like
no
ghost ship
reason.
shit?
What's that? Yeah, kind of like ghost ship, because there like there was one like really early on. This was like back in like the 1700s, where a ship, it was just a merchant ship, was going from like I think from America to Italy, and it was carrying a lot of moonshine, like alcohol over there. Well, like all of a sudden it went missing, and then I think they found it, and they went on it, and the whole crew was gone. Like no one was there, but all of the alcohol was still on the ship. Like everything was fine and everything was there, but like the whole crew, the captain, everybody was missing. And then like the captain's log was there, and he like had written some stuff, and I can't remember exactly what he said. But then they had like, well, the funny part of that story though is the back then, because you didn't really have like insurance, what they would do is like maybe they did have some type of insurance for it, but like a judge had a rule on it. And so like this like one judge was really, he did not want them, he had like his own theory that like all the crewmates abandoned ship because a storm was coming. And so they got on the lifeboats for some fucking reason, even though the ship had no problem with it. Like there was nothing wrong with the ship. Yeah, they left all the booze. He said he did this because the captain wanted the money for like the insurance money, and so he just made it all up, and they left, and it was just like the stupidest shit.
But again, it's like, okay, fine. So let's roll with that theory, right? Let's roll with that theory. Fine. So the captain's like, okay, everybody, we're all gonna do this elaborate prank, right? It'll be so funny.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna cut anybody on the insurance money, and I expect all of you to never be seen again by anybody.
Yeah, it's like it's the dumbest shit.
Too many things,
and he didn't give him the booze either.
By the way, this happened again. Like there was another one that happened like in the 2000s, I believe. Some friends just went out fishing. They all like they regularly go fishing on their boat. It was like it was a bigger boat. It was a nice boat, and they went out. And they went fishing, and then like they went missing. They were gone. The boat was still there, so they found the boat. And when they went there, they found like a half-eaten sandwich, and like the like everything was there. Like they had just sat down to like eat breakfast that morning or something like that, and then they were just gone. And like there was nothing wrong with the boat. I can't remember if it was at anchor or something, but like they just went totally missing. Like their fishing poles were like cast into the water, like they had gone fishing and they were like actually gonna try to catch something at the time, and then they were just gone. Like it's the weird. I wish I could find that story, but like,
it's Tyler Yonke.
How about the what do you say? Bermuda Triangle.
Bermuda Triangle.
I mean, this wasn't the Bermuda Triangle. I think this one was off of Australia. But yes, sure, the Bermuda Triangle also.
He's like, you know that thing? It's like a triangle. It's like, yeah, man, we all know it. It's kind of off the coast of Florida somewhere.
What do you guys think about Atlantis? Like, do you think that was a thing?
I think it very possibly could have been, right? Because like we talked about before we started, like Gobli, I can't say that fucking thing. The thing of Turkey, Gobli,
Tepe.
Yeah, like there were civilizations probably way more earlier than we thought there were that just got wiped out. Isn't that also like a conspiracy in itself? Like every few generations or whatever you want to categorize as a generation, like human beings is like max out. And then like reset. We do like kind of restart. Yeah, like we start from the beginning again. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, one theory people would try to use was like the burning of Alexandria Library, that was a reset. But I don't think that.
Are we talking about the Great Reset now?
Yeah. Well, not the new one. The
No, the conspiracy of the Great Reset. That shit is like insane when you like look into it. Like it makes a lot of sense.
Right, but okay, so like, but I've heard it's like we've had high technology before on Earth, and then back to wouldn't we have found something though of our old world? Like, I mean, if you bury a computer now, you probably still be able to pull up that computer in a 500,000, 1,000 years or 2,000 years from now. Like it wouldn't work, but you would have like, oh, this is a keyboard or something. I would imagine.
I don't know if it was like more that we have the technology we have today, but more that like they had more advanced technology than what we thought they would have at the time. So it would be like in the like what if the Bronze Age, like so it, like in the Bronze Age, we think they got the bronze, and then we have the Iron Age right after that. Well, what if like actually in the Bronze Age they had iron? So that would mean they're already one step ahead, but like the Great Reset happens, and then they just get sent back to like Bronze Age. They have bronze now, and like, but then in the Iron Age they had steel or whatever, and it kind of does something like that. But like, so for now we're in the era we're at right now. We're too far ahead now, so now they just set us back again to get to a certain point. But like, some of the stuff is left over, like the pyramids, like stuff you can't actually get rid of.
So Justin says, look up Doggerland. Archaeological evidence strongly suggests that it might have been Plato's Atlantis. Didn't they also find like that like civil? Like, I think it's like right in the. I don't know if it's in the Mediterranean or like right on the Atlantic, like off the coast of Europe, but like this giant like sunken piece of land. Recently,
was that the thing that kind of looks like a spaceship?
I don't remember. It was a few years ago.
No. That's in the that might be in the Black Sea. That's another really crazy one. I think it might be the Black. Hold on, I'm gonna make sure it's the Black Sea.
Because I can't remember. But I remember.
Y'all should look into the Graham Hancock. That's where I heard a lot of this from.
Yeah, Randall Carlson. They were all on fucking Rogan anyway. But like, but he gets shit on a lot. Fucking Graham Hancock.
Oh, it's the Baltic Sea spaceship. Like they they were like like if you look it up, so if like you look it up, there's like a they went out there and they like mapped like the bottom of the sea, the Baltic Sea.
That, dude. What?
and then they like found like there's like, if you just look at it, there's like this really weird, like very flat part of it that also has like weird. It doesn't look like it would just naturally erode that way, and so everybody was just like, "Oh, that's just a spaceship," which it totally does look like one. And I think they went down there and they said it wasn't. It was just like I don't know, but it's still.
It looks like a shitty Millennium Falcon. I'm going to share this.
It does. It 100% does.
Like. So they actually went down there to fucking like.
I can't remember. There was something that did happen when they tried to go down and look at it.
That's what they look like, or that's what it looks like. Because I mean, how far is the? Because we're all libertarians here first. None of us trust any fucking government.
Thing the government says.
Right.
Hell no.
Like, fuck that. So my question is like, could somebody in that, or any scientist or researcher, go down there and look on the behalf? You know what I'm saying? Of like us.
It's probably like how you can't get into Antarctica and do it. Nobody's gonna let you do it. It's probably something like that.
True.
Where you're blocked off.
The Antarctica stuff is another whole other thing.
Dude, Admiral
that I am not.
So
right?
The Admiral Byrd shit is so fucking weird.
So
and how they told him like you cannot talk about it.
Yeah. And then he comes out later. He comes out with this weird statement like, "Oh, it was bullshit. I made it up so that we could fight the Nazis, and I made up things about flying stuff so that we would focus towards Germany." And it's like.
Which makes it doesn't make sense. So you're gonna tell the U.S. government and the people of the world that I just found giants in fucking caves to Hollow Earth and whatever the fuck else he saw, and that's gonna distract us from Nazis, like that, or that's gonna throw off the Nazi thing. It's like, dude, they're gonna, if anything, they're gonna make them want to go down there.
No, by the way, they
it's
did.
A convenient
they
excuse,
actually
did,
yeah.
They wanted to go. They wanted the Nazis did actually send a lot of stuff to both. I think Antarctica and like the North Pole, and like it was. They were really interested up there. So there is something going on. I don't know what the fuck it is. Maybe it's Hollow Earth. Maybe there's other random shit. Maybe it's like the flat Earth guy said. Maybe that's just the outer edge of the flat Earth and. There's shit over there. Who fucking knows? But like, it is very weird that there's one continent that nobody can go to except for certain very elite, specific scientists, sanctioned by all the governments of the world.
Yeah, right. And it's like, well, we don't want people dying there. It's like, yeah, that's a good excuse to like obviously say up front, right? Like, we don't want people to just track you, but like, you don't own it. So well, also, like stopping me from going there.
Well, but people can go to like northern Canada where it gets, not as cold, but it gets, pretty fucking cold enough.
You're allowed to explore volcanoes if you want to.
Right. No, that's a great. You guys especially both make great points. But to Cole's point, I think it was Top Gear. And if it wasn't Top Gear, it was another show like that.
It was Top Gear.
They drove to the Arctic Circle line with a car.
Yeah, they did.
And then I remember they were like drinking because they're like, "There's no law here." Ha ha.
Because it's on international waters. It's technically international waters. Yeah.
It's like, so that's okay. That's not getting hammered on a TV show and driving over ice with the fucking all Dodge neon. That's totally cool. But I can't go down like an expedition to fucking Antarctica if I wanted to, like, and pay for it, like, with like a legit. That's too dangerous.
Like, people live in the coldest place on Earth. Like, you tell me that's less dangerous than Antarctica?
Justin hitting us with more facts. He said Argentinian citizens are free to visit Antarctica, as Argentina has a territorial claim there that predates the treaty. But my question to you is like, I didn't know either. My question to you is A, who's doing that? B, is it like you have to be a natural born Argentinian, or like, can we fly to Argentina and be like, well, I want to go check out this fucking.
That's why the Nazis were Argentina.
Because I remember Tierra del Fuego is like right there. Like, it's legitimate. Like, I think you can like see Antarctica from like Tierra del Fuego or something like that. But like, I didn't know that they could actually go there for like but how many people have? Like, that is the like, how many have it, or like how many are going there to like see, because, or like, you can't find pictures of like Antarctica online, which is kind of weird. Like, you'll find like satellite pictures, but it's not like actually them going over there next to, maybe you can, whatever the fuck. I could be talking about out of my ass, but there's something going on, because why else? I mean, unless they were just, it doesn't make sense. No one's going to colonize it, so I don't know why you have to worry about. Maybe they think, what's the wrong with like a lot of people going there and studying it, all from different nations.
I guess if you're going to look at it from just a non-conspiracy point of view, you could say that you don't want anybody building a fucking nuclear silo in the fucking Antarctica. Like, I guess.
But why would you? Why would you? It's not like it's going to reach anywhere. I
don't know, bro. Have you seen superhero movies? Crazy people do crazy shit. I don't fucking know. They build fucking silos and volcanoes.
Superman's down there. Maybe Superman's down there. The fucking what's his Superman?
His Fortress of Solitude.
The Fortress of Solitude is just sitting down there, and they just don't want us to know. And then that's
the North Pole, I thought.
I heard a conspiracy recently, and this to me even seems too fucking out there, where they're going to try to like introduce like superheroes to the world, like genetically modified human beings in a lab that they're going to pass off as natural grown like powers. For whatever reason. And I was like, it was a real quick thing. I don't remember where I fucking
because
I watched it, I didn't even read it, but like
they even talked about they've talked about like designer babies. That's actually been a thing that people have talked about, like, where whenever you're pregnant, they will go in and actually manipulate the genes to have, whatever, maybe the baby gets born, it doesn't have Down syndrome, or it doesn't have like nearsightedness, or so it won't need glasses ever. Like, they've already talked about doing that. So it's not a stretch to say like, yes.
No one wants a 5'5" superhero. Yeah, you're Jose.
A fucking manlet.
His Achilles heel was the cheese wheel.
His Achilles wheel is if you put anything on the top counter, you can't get it. You can't get it.
Oh no, but the structure, because she talked about the Chinese rover, the structure on the moon. There was also the ones, the bunkers on Mars. That's another weird one. I don't know if you've seen that conspiracy.
Yeah, I have. Well,
that, like,
also, fucking Jose.
He's heavy,
we get
for
it,
ladders.
bro. You have big arms. We get it. But I could reach everything. Fuck, what were you saying? The superhero.
The bunkers on Mars.
Bunkers on Mars. I mean, bunkers on Mars. Yeah, when there was that one guy who came out, but like this thing, when people come out and they say what I'm about to say, you go, that guy does sound crazy. Like that one guy came out, he said, I fought reptile aliens on Mars and I lost my arm. And you're like, I don't know, dude. Did you? But he's doing like circuits. Like, this guy is actually like doing like legitimate like those UFO conference. Like, it's not like this guy's just constantly going on podcasts. He's like a speaker for stuff. I don't remember the guy's name, but that's what he says. Or it was either he fought him on Mars, and then there's that he said there's that Dulce underground base, the dump in New Mexico, Dulce Air Force Base.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
He said it's a real Air Force base in New Mexico. It's called Dulce Air Force Base, but he says under there is like a subterranean layer that we share with aliens. And this is what he says. He says there's 11 layers, and the bottom 2 layers no human beings are allowed to go to. And then he's like, we had a fight with aliens down there. Like, it was like a whole misunderstanding. I was like, I don't know, dude. This sounds kind of crazy, even for me. But you're like, I don't know, maybe what was the guys telling the truth? And we're like, fuck you, crazy. Like, I fought aliens on Mars. I'm not crazy. We're like, whatever. Like, you know.
Well, the thing is, like, if anybody comes and tells us like these things, like that's why I don't think the government is really worried about like the super like crazy shit that they do getting out, because they can just immediately say that guy's just fucking crazy. Like, he's not. I mean, we don't do that. The aliens don't exist. Do I believe aliens exist? I honestly, I don't know. I don't know if you're there, Adam. But I'm at the I don't know stage, maybe. Like
I lean like towards yes, but that's just more of like math reasons of like how could we be the only if we take space for what it is, right? And we think space is truly this infinite platform of just planets and stars and space shit. Then if we're going off that, I would put almost everything I have on it that there has to be theoretical life somewhere else. Even if it's just a bunch of elephant type things walking around somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like something has to be. But if we're going,
Donald, why don't you just fucking get on here then? If you know, he knows all this shit.
Right? You want me to send you an invite, guys?
He's Googling it, cheater.
He's just Googling it all.
How does he know about this Catholic church?
Oh, yeah. So he says there's a Catholic church in Argentinian civ. Are you a shill? I think he's a shill for Antarctica.
Yeah,
I think
that's right. He's
Arctic shill.
He's big Antarctica. He's a shill for Big Antarctica.
Which is the name of this episode, Big Antarctica.
Big Ant.
Big Antarctica.
He's an
Antarcticist. And then Tyler, space is fake and it's water. I don't know. It might be.
No. That was actually a thing. Flat Earth Dave on our podcast said that space is fake. He was like, well, okay, so it was actually really funny. We weren't able to. So kind of back behind the scenes. At the end of our Flat Earth Dave podcast, he left. Like he was like he only had like an hour he could do or whatever it was. And so I was trying to get Toad to go, let's stay longer, because I just want to make fun of him. Because I just like, this guy just came on and literally just started selling all this crazy shit. But Toad thought I was saying wrap it up, but I wasn't. I wanted to go longer and like make fun of him, but Toad ended it early.
This is the elongate. This is the
I was doing this. I was doing this to go.
Up.
That's okay, my bad. That's true. You know, you're right. I have to get my podcast hand signs. Just I haven't gotten it yet.
That's a comedy thing. Like if you're doing time and someone like wants you to do more time, they'll be like, stretch it out, do more time. This means like get the fuck off stage. You're eating shit. Get off. No one wants to hear this.
But like so. There was crazy shit he said, like like he said, the space is fake, gravity doesn't exist, it's all just buoyancy, and we're just different densities, so that's what keeps us down. Is that
I don't know.
After that show, I went and watched his videos, and I was trying to like research what he's talking about. My wife walks in on me doing it and threatened to divorce me.
But the thing is, like, once you accept one thing about like flat Earth, you have to then like be like, okay, everybody's lying to us, and like everything we've taught is totally wrong. There's a totally different set of physics and a totally different set of like laws of like
that's
we have
my
to.
biggest anti-flat Earth thing is because I have eyes, and I've been in planes, and I can see a curve. You could fucking see it. Like, you could see a curve in the sky. Like, you could see it if you stand on a hilltop. You could see a curve in the like. There's plenty of places I've been to where I've stood, and you could see. So fuck you. Also, the moon. What the fuck is that? Everything else is round.
The moon isn't real. I'm not joking.
So I do want to address. No, but I do want to address like as good as CGI is nowadays. Right? And like the best of the best CGI that you could fucking pay for. We as human beings still could tell if it's real or not. Have you ever truly really seen something and went, that's real and it's not been real? I mean, without like actually looking at
it. I actually have.
No,
yes.
no, hold on. Not just a first glance. Like it's your first glance, sure, and then someone's like, "That's fake," and you went, "Oh yeah. I'm talking about like
no.
one of
There's ones that like no, these aren't. Let's say in movies. They're not in movies, and it's not like it was like a tech demonstration for like video games, but it wasn't actually for a video game. It was more like just literally real life picture imaging like things like that was totally computer generated. But like, go ahead. Yes, you're totally right. Continue.
You know, like when they have satellite images of like right above the clouds, and it's like going over Earth, and like I'm like, that looks too real to be fake. Like you know, like because you've been in a plane and you've been above clouds and you know what that looks like, and I to recreate that so well where I'm fooled, I feel like, or all of us are fooled, is I don't know, dude. I just feel like it's not there yet. Like CGI is not there unless it is there, and like they're hiding that good CGI from us, like they did with flat screen. You ever hear the flat screen TV thing in the 50s?
What?
So like in the 50s, apparently, like they had like essentially like a flat screen TV technology,
like
the government
LCD.
And the government came in and was like, "Thanks," and then we didn't get it until the 90s again.
It's like Alex.
By the way, that isn't
50s. We had VR.
Well,
really?
No, this is something that my father-in-law worked for like communications for like the Navy, and he always tells me shit about. He was just like, "Oh, we had like video calls back in the 90s." He was like, "In the 90s, I was on a ship and I was doing a video call with like my wife, and like we could talk to each other, and it was video and all that shit, and like we see each other, we could talk." And he was like, "So that shit," but that didn't come out till like way later for commercial people, and he was talking about all the other shit they had, but like so. The government does have that shit like that, so I could totally believe. Now, flat screen TVs back in the 50s, who fucking knows? Maybe.
Right, I have no idea, but that's what I've heard. Like they had like a lot of this tech, or isn't there a fucking? Wasn't like Nixon taking phone calls on Air Force One? How the fuck was he doing that?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like
they would have to have satellites. They would have to have satellites or some kind of weird, or maybe some weird
look up 1960s VR. They had like VR gloves back then.
But with what?
I don't know.
What?
I don't know. Alex Jones
said the gloves.
But see that stuff, like that's why, like if you look into a telescope and like you look at like Saturn or Jupiter or something like that, like you could. A really good telescope. I don't know if you guys ever like actually look through like a really good telescope. My friend's brother's a nerd, and he like does that for like a hobby. And he spent like thousands of dollars on like he like really went all out into telescopes.
What a faggot!
Totally crazy.
You can do this for hours. Damn,
crazy. Never's gonna have sex for sure. Nonetheless, telescopes are cool. 100% cool. So like he was showing me the one day, like, yo, look at, you could see like Mars, and like you looked and like you could see Mars, dude. Like that, like the crust of Mars, like you could see it, and you go like, that's how could that? I mean, it could be. I get yes, theoretically, I guess I could be looking at some sort of crazy high tech image that's not real. Sure, okay, that the government put up there, I guess,
over the entire world.
Yeah, but like I just go, that looks too real,
and no one talks about it. Well, so that's the thing with like really big conspiracies, like the ones that are like absolutely massive, like a flat Earth theory, where they legit told us all this shit about like everything we've been taught about the world is wrong, and they've gotten every scientist in on it, and they've gotten everybody, like NASA's taken over. Like somebody somewhere is going to be like, speak out. Like you can't have millions of people like in line, nobody talks. Like it's never happened before. Like there's always leaks. It happens. Like like the more people you tell, the better chance there is leaks. So that's like that kind of thing. Like okay, even well, I can't remember how he explained. Maybe someone in the comments in the chat can tell me if they remember.
Justin, if you're still listening, Google this for us.
well, how the flat Earth guy explained planets and other shit. Like because also they believe that the Earth is the center of the universe. Also, maybe not even center. Like they still believe in like
sun?
They say the sun is one closer. It's not huge. It's small. And it's just like a small like light source, out, like.
But okay, fine.
Like a couple thousand miles away.
That's so close. A couple of thousand miles away. The moon's 200 and something thousand miles away.
No, but you're not taking it from that the moon
right.
is.
You're right.
This is the the globalists told you that the moon, like the moon isn't that far away. The moon is just like also really super close.
Okay, but even off that, I can't. This is why I can't do it. Because even off that, so then theoretically, you could throw a rock and hit the. Why haven't you done it then? Throw a rock and hit the moon. Throw a fucking football. I have a good arm. Because if you're telling me the sun, which is mad hot, and we all get hot from the sun, is only a few thousand yards away from the earth.
No, 1,000 miles. There's a couple thousand miles.
I'm sorry, 1,000 miles away from the earth.
Yeah,
and
it's
the
so
moon,
hot to be perpetually burning, but it can't burn us from only 1,000 miles
no,
away.
but they say it's not like burning. It's just a light source. Like it's maybe like it's not like a.
Why am I hot? What does heat come from?
Because it's climate. It's just the climate.
Fuck
it's
these people. No, they're dumb.
I swear to,
Sorry.
I'm not even fucking with you.
Dude,
like this is legit.
He's probably so he'd be so pissed if you heard Cole arguing on his behalf right now.
Yeah, he's like,
oh yeah, what is it? He'd be like, "No, he's totally wrong. What we actually believe is this, and I'll be like, "Okay, whatever." Like whatever I said actually sounds better than what you said,
honestly,
because what you said is.
I'm sure you guys watched that Flat Earth documentary.
I have
on Netflix.
The first I had heard was him.
You know what? Don't even watch it. Just watch this one clip from it. The guy goes to the guy's like, I have an experiment. We're gonna fucking disprove round Earth. I'll show you how it's flat. He's like, see, I'm gonna set up a cardboard thing here. I'm gonna go like hundreds of feet that way or yards and set up a cardboard thing here, and I'm gonna shine a light through. And if the light goes exactly through it, it's flat. Like we all know it. And like they just kept fucking up the experiment and just kept showing how it wasn't flat. And just be like, I don't understand why it's just working. It's like, because it's not flat.
Well, so like he went on this whole thing. You have to go watch it. But he went on this whole thing about like how, because we talk about the horizon. They were like, that's how you know, like, because you can see the horizon when you're in the plane. You can see all this shit. And like, but he just talks about how like when things are really far away and they're small, like you just can't see them.
Yeah.
So like he would be like, okay, so like if I'm like,
these guys just describing eyesight to us. You know how eyes work? You know, far and close. Yeah, man, I do.
Your eyes are flat. Yeah, actually, they're not balls.
It just, and I think someone did early in the chat said that like this whole thing was started by like some CIA operatives just to see if they could fuck with people enough. And it totally got started because like they truly believe that the whole round Earth thing started with NASA. That NASA started telling it, because then you'd be like, maybe you don't remember this, but when I was younger, they used to teach a flat Earth. And I was just like, okay, I don't know what you're talking about there, bro.
1202.
Yeah.
They taught flat Earth. Before Copernicus and Galileo, they taught flat Earth.
The man's a vampire, actually. That's the real conspiracy. Flat Earth Dave.
Oh,
Flat Earth Dave.
Even Galileo, that would have been pretty cool.
Oh yeah, he did also talk about the logistics of World War II, as in killing people, as in our big nose friends.
2 days.
Our rich big nose friends, and then he talked about how he was just like, he said, which he doesn't believe it was 6 million. Go figure. I mean, I don't either. But he said something, and fucking O'Donnell just had mentioned this early on, but he did mention that the Americans like starved like 1 million Germans, soldiers or something like that. And O'Donnell said it actually did happen. So that's something I didn't realize. But
yeah, it's not like we weren't incinerating villages of people like in all the wars we did in. Like
his reasoning behind why he thought it was less than 6 million was pretty weak, though, because one, he said that we starved Germans in like 2 days, which you can survive. I don't know fucking how many days without food. He's like, it's easy.
Like
they just
14 days without food.
Well, you can get,
made it sound so easy.
Not dehydration
like,
though. Not
dehydration. No, food.
Dehydration, you will die in like 3 days.
If you're dehydrated, yeah. So that is. But then he also, I think he used the oven thing.
This is not rain in Germany, Cole. I'm sorry. Open your mouth like a turkey. You'll figure it out.
Like he gave away the logistics of 6 million if you're using ovens, but it's like they weren't burning every one of them in ovens. They were just shooting them in a field or some shit or whatever, you know.
Well,
And
I
then,
think
like,
they burned
putting
them.
them
The
in
ovens were
grave.
for the sick people. Yeah.
it's a lot easier to kill someone with a bullet than there's an oven. Am I wrong?
800,000.
Yeah. Literally. Yeah, his thing was like he was really worried about like the weight. Well, he was just like, why would they build these huge camps if they could just take them out to a field and then just let them like die out
How
there?
do you?
That's a
torture
Polly
people?
Walnuts meme. Like, hey, tell them
But-
if they was really gonna whack, why'd they give him a tennis court?
Wasn't a big conspiracy also for the whole Holocaust thing, like how we knew it was going on the whole time, we just didn't say anything.
Oh,
until
that's
we,
100% true. Yeah, that's 100%.
Yeah.
Well,
we were like,
we
oh
knew
my
we didn't know
God,
the whole
look what
time.
we totally
knew
found by accident. Like,
No, I'll say this: we didn't know at the beginning because I just
we
want
knew
to
pretty
point.
quick,
I
though.
want to point that out because
Yes.
people say that we entered World War II because of the Holocaust was happening, which is not true. There was things that were happening at that moment, but it was more like, again, like conspiracy theory shit. But at some point, we did absolutely know during the war that shit was going on, and then we found,
right.
So
But again, that's the other funny thing of like people just not getting like history at all, or like trusting us and to trust the government's word over it. Like, I'm like, oh, you think that we were figuring out nuclear fusion and didn't know a bunch of Jews were getting murdered overseas? Like, you think we were so dumb that as we were crafting an atomic bomb, we are like, oh, we couldn't figure out to look at Poland. Like, it's so dumb.
all these Jews are gone. I don't know what happened. They just left. They just went to like no. They
just got kicked out again. You know, they went somewhere.
you know them always getting kicked out of places.
Yeah, add another one to the list, boys.
Look, I've been kicked out of a lot of bars. At about 10, I realized I'm the problem.
After 109,
like, what, you guys weren't thinking it.
After 109, you start to wonder, like, is it me or is it them? Really, like, what's?
Oh, that's what gets us kicked off. Nothing else. That's gonna be this.
Oh yeah, all the other.
I'm gonna duck. I hear the helicopters coming.
Man, we've been on for an hour 40, guys. We gotta do this again though.
I'm down. I want to like. I'll need to study up more on some, and like I think whatever O'Donnell seems like he knows some shit. Let's get him on here.
Yeah, we gotta get Justin in here.
Mark,
on one condition: if he fucking ruins fun movies, he's not allowed on this fucking podcast. If he makes me look into fucking like, what's the fucking Disney movie? Lilo and Stitch is like a serious like. Do you know the socioeconomic? Justin, shut up! I don't want to watch monsters shoot each other. I don't give a shit about a storyline or an arc.
Tell him
this isn't
he
fucking
has to watch
Gone with the
Kong versus Zilla before he comes on.
Yeah, that's
no, he already did. He said he already wasted 2 hours.
We're gonna watch it while we podcast. It's gonna be.
Cole has to watch. One thing.
God,
one thing
no.
Before Leighton kills me, this is the one that he wanted me to mention. Was what I mentioned to you, Adam, about Big Vet being in cahoots with the puppy mills. So, shout out to you, Leighton.
Yeah. Bring it up real quick. Just go into what you're saying.
I have no source other than I made it up, so it's a Giga Chad conspiracy. But basically, Leighton and I have come to the conclusion that the reason pet stores do successful. I mean, this is not a conspiracy. This is a fact. 90% of their puppies come from unethical like puppy mills and backyard breeders.
Yeah.
And so
I kidnap puppies and I sell them to pet stores. I'm their breeder.
Good job. Thank you for your service. You're the 10%.
Kidnapping puppies.
so like the theory was that the fact that because some states are like super aggressive on animal rights in some areas, but they don't give a shit if you have a puppy mill or whatever. And the fact that the reason why that is because the vet unions and shit don't care because all the fucked up puppies are coming to them, so they make a shit ton of money. So it could be a total bullshit, but hey, look, we made up a good theory here.
Like I was telling you when you told me that, I was like, that just sounds true. It doesn't even sound like a conspiracy. It just sounds like what happens. So like, yeah, that sounds right. I don't know. Yeah, that's probably fucked up, and they are probably torturing dogs for their own benefit. But like Fauci did it. So like probably like,
dude,
like
beagles too.
Once you read it, like I tore. Well, I like to think Fauci himself was just holding beagle puppies, just tearing their throats out with his bare hand like a lizard person. Just like
Fauci is really a Russian gangster, and John Wick 4 is about that.
Oh yeah, that'd be really funny.
But we should try to do this like maybe like once a month and like just try to fucking
We'll
break away
bring up
from
some
just libertarian
conspiracies.
shit and just
Yeah,
talk
just bring up some
conspiracy.
conspiracies and just like we'll just talk about them.
Yeah,
just
because I
like
mean,
can read
we
up on
literally
them.
could have done we could have done 2 hours on just the missing 401, and we went to like a
Yeah.
thousand.
you really can. You really
really
if you
can.
dig into it. Like and also like the Giants thing. Again, like there is more to what I was saying. Like there's so much
No, we
more
gotta
to
do
it.
next time.
Also
We
with
actually
Hollow
have to
Earth.
come in with like 2 topics or 3 times and actually just try to like look into those topics and just fucking stick with those. But it's so fun to just hop around and like be
Oh
like, you
yeah,
guys see the
and
ship
also the other thing
you
is
guys see the ship in the ocean? It's like, what? No.
well, also the other thing is like a lot of these theories like connect, or you can
Mhm.
make them connect, and then that's when it gets really fun. You're just like, oh, the Giants are actually all like the Hollow Earth people, and they just kind of come out at some points, and then like the governments of the world just started like, we're like, nope, you're gonna stay down in the Hollow Earth now, and we're never gonna see you again, except for like some of them get out, and then like.
Yeah, Justin, we know that's a conspiracy. That's not fun to talk about, though. Would you rather hear me talk about COVID
Shit
or
on our
fucking
parade all day.
or a giant lizard? Come on, Jesus!
Don't
Christ.
have him on this time. God,
That
he's
is
gonna
just
shit
ruining
on
my
us all
good
day.
time, and I'm not appreciating it. It's Justin's a
I was
fucking
enjoying
buzzkill for
talking
me.
about torturing puppies when you fucking bring the COVID in here.
We were trying to go a whole podcast without it.
God damn it! I know. Fuck. So successful.
Damn it.
Bummer. No, we'll have Justin on next time. We'll have a 4-person panel and we'll fucking get him involved in this mess. All right, boys. Well, thank you. This has been fun. Everybody knows you guys anyway, but just plug away all your stuff and everybody can find you.
Yeah, so I'm Tower King Cole on Twitter, and then I'm on. I think everybody in the chat knows I'm on Tower Power Hour. On tomorrow we have Crip Daddy, which is a crippled comedian, and dude is hilarious. So it's gonna be insane. Like he says whatever he wants. And the next week we have the return of Dave Smith, so that's gonna be really fun for our 50th episode. And the only other thing is, my wife would kill me if I didn't mention this. Our dog Ollie, we have 2 dachshunds. Our dog Ollie, I put him on the floor, and like he went paralyzed from like kind of like the waist down, so like his back 2 feet are paralyzed now. So she made a GoFundMe to like help us get him surgery to fix that. So check that out, just if you want to, if you love dogs.
Yeah, no, it's
I
actually
can't
wild.
believe anyone would donate to that. You should just euthanize them. They say on Twitter.
Yeah,
a guy actually did say that on Twitter, by the way.
Yeah,
that
and
was
then
actually
we
something.
all
And he said-
roasted
He said
him.
he said euthanize all pit bulls. And I'm just like, excuse me.
Euthanize that guy. That guy sucks.
Yeah,
I don't want to
honestly.
miss that guy at all. Like at all. It's weird. Cole. Wildly enough, I have a dachshund named Oliver too.
Oh hell yeah!
It's just really weird.
How old is he?
He's 11.
Oh, see, ours is only 3 years old, so it was
Yeah,
like a really, really freak accident. I don't know like how it happened, but
That's so sad.
He was
But
Fauci.
he's a long-haired dachshund. I have a short-haired dachshund, but
Oh,
that is wild. I
yeah.
also have a other dog too. But that's not named Oliver. But that was wild when your wife posted that. I was like, what? What are the fucking odds? I was like, is my dog okay?
But I mean, we don't have kids. It was like it's. I mean, for somebody who has kids, they're probably looking at me like, oh, you fucking care about the dog. But like, we like love our dogs, and so like, but seeing like something that we care for hurt like that was like
yeah,
really
no, it's the worst.
heartbreaking. And so and like, I mean, when we have kids, it's gonna be 10 times that if something happens. But
I mean,
like,
let it be known that you paralyzed a dog because you touched it last.
Yeah,
so
100%.
Let it be known that Cole. It was 100% Cole's fault. He hurt that dog. Was everybody pay attention to that? Cole is a dog hurter.
He works for the vet unions.
Leighton
That's
said,
right.
Adam, Google Port Lock Alaska mystery. Well, that's what I'll be doing after this. Googling
Hell
Port
yeah.
Lock Alaska mystery. Dickie, anything to plug before we get out here?
Yeah. Again, I reiterate the GoFundMe. Please share as much as you can because I'm in the same boat. We had dogs, no kids yet, and that's our life. So I'd feel the same way. But yeah, Pine__Barons on Twitter. I am making, as many of you know, a really cool supercut of every Tower Power Hour episode that come out with. I'm stupid and I made it before this one aired, the next one, so I have to remake it and add it in there. But it'll be up on YouTube. They're gonna play it on their 50th one, so go check those guys out for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I think it's pretty funny. The one I made, you're in it, Adam. So
Yes. Which, by the way, I expect to be on the 51st episode to reclaim my throne.
Oh, we need to have you on again because we're gonna try. So 50th is probably gonna be Dave. Well, it's definitely Dave. We really need to get the Biting the Bullet guys on because they're great, and then we have to have the return of Adam Nutter because we've already had Robbie come back, and then we've already have Dave come back. So it's like the only other two would be like you and Josh Denny need to come back, and then just maybe together. That'd be oh yeah, Josh Denny took it from you. So
that's what I want. I want that back.
Also, the chat's hyping me up here. I'm gonna plug my 2 books. The first book is the 19th Amendment and its Consequences. Pretty obvious title right there. The second book was a follow-up. It is called Patriarchy and Its Accomplishments. Special edition has Jose on the cover. Also, I'm hoping to be on the show with Dave on the 50th. That all depends on how quickly I can get home that night. So
Dickie's been on the show. I don't know what you're talking about. He's already been on it.
Show. When?
He kissed me on the show.
That was on Break the Cycle, you bitch.
Oh. Well, never mind.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
It was. But you guys can't.
Also, yes, we do. We really do want to get Fuentes on the show. That would be insane. So,
dude, that would be a wild ride. He might actually get you guys canceled if you let him just completely go off.
Imagine the Twitter storm today that we had. Imagine that just ramped up times 10. I mean, if they weren't hiding behind the
we get the actual real people, not just anons on Twitter. We'll get like fucking actual like Cato people or some shit getting really upset at us. Would be so great.
We can talk about this after because we're just boring people now. But like, that is the fucking funniest. Is like all these people with like 2 followers on Twitter being like, "You guys are awful." Like, who the fuck cares what you think? Like,
I'll say this because I was saying in our group chat today. Like, I promise you, if we're not going to dox you because we don't give a fuck about you. Like if we're going to dox somebody, it's to be somebody that actually matters or someone that's not an anon on Twitter. Like we don't give a fuck to dox you. So.
Oh, Jose, apparently you guys are working on getting Fuentes.
Yeah, no, we actually are. We 100% are. So we've reached out through our 2 channels to get to Fuentes, and hopefully we can get him through. So.
Yeah, that'd be fucking wild. No, all right. Well, this is, I think, conclusive. We have to do this once a month. Everybody seems to dig it. We got to make this a common thing. We'll bring on a rotating 4th. Justin will be the next one because you have so much Google knowledge. Is
this going to be is this going to be Adam's version of the 4 Horsemen? But it's just like
just dick jokes and fucking.
It's way more retarded and conspiracies, just half-baked conspiracies, and we're just like. You seen that boat in the sea, and it's gone now. Like crazy guy, right?
We're all just gonna be drunk.
It's like a triangle. You guys get it?
By the way, this I'm not lying. This is the ASL version for pussy. So. So if you go up to a dead person and like do this, you're just telling them vagina. So I just want to
have a triangular dick.
Just give them a fucking good old finger too. Like, yeah, you're deaf, you can't do shit. Prove it. You can't say anything. All right, guys, you guys know where to find me. Adam Nutter. Go buy a shirt. Droptent.com/store for shirts. Again, I'm on the road. The only thing I'm doing this year is December 30th. West Collins, New Jersey at Rexy's coming out Thursday night, day before fucking New Year's Eve. Coming out. I think the show's almost sold out. It's me, Neil, and 2 other great comics.
But you're going to be down with us for New Year's Eve, correct? Yes?
No, I looked into it. No, it was just way too expensive.
Damn you.
Expensive. Too expensive.
It was too last minute. I promise it was. If you guys told me literally a month ago, I probably would have got a better deal. But my wife, when I looked into it, it was like fucking like hundreds and hundreds of dollars. It was worth it.
Damn it.
It's too much. I know. Next year. How about that? How about we plan it out like a good gay?
Oh, that's much better. Yeah, we'll plan it out. That'll be much better.
Yeah. And then because my wife was like, she was psyched to the idea of going to Florida because she wants a vacation. She's a teacher. What the fuck she do? But she wants a vacation. I'm kidding. She'll be so mad if I said that. She wants a vacation though. So we gotta get down there for sure.
All right.
But I'm coming down there for comedy. I think.
When?
Yeah, I'm gonna go missing. That's a new conspiracy. All right, boys and everybody. Thanks for the chat. That was fun. Everybody listening, as always, thank you for supporting. And we'll be back. Oh, I think I have Angela on McCardle, and also the great Scott Horton making an appearance. So 2 good episodes in the future. Yeah. So those will not be this. I promise you. Sorry. Those will not
this one has better ratings.
This one definitely will have better ratings for sure. All right. Don't leave, guys. I'm going to talk to you after. All right, everybody. Love you.
Okay.
Peace.
See ya.
Thanks for listening. Find Adam on social media, Twitter and IG at Adam Nutter, or Facebook and TikTok at Adam Nutter Comedy. And for podcasts and merch, check out www.droptent.com. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe so you never miss an episode.
This has been a Drop Tent Media production.